going on, everybody? Kyle at Outlaw Harley-Davidson here, and this is your 2021 Fat Boy. One big thing they did is they went back to your chrome finishes on everything instead of the brushed aluminum look that they gave it in 2018, 2019, and 2020. You're going to get several color options. You get four. You're going to get your vivid black. You're going to get your blackjack metallic, which is what this color is. You're also going to get your deadwood green and a solid deadwood green, and then you're going to get your vivid black and your gauntlet gray with the blue offset pinstripe. That's your two-tone option for 2021. Guys, this new Fat Boy, it is a land cruiser. That is exactly what you buy this bike for, is going down the highway. Adding cruise control to it is what a lot of people do. Windshield, saddlebags, stuff like that. Set it up for a longer trip. But if you want to go down the highway in comfort and in style, the 2021 Fat Boy is a great option. You get your 160 tire in the front, matched with your 240 in the rear. That really sticks you to the ground, keeps you locked in those corners. It corners really well, but it's a little bit different because you do have the fatter tires in the front and the rear. So it's not like a Sportster or maybe even a Heritage Softail if you've ridden those before. It takes a little bit more effort and a little bit more concentration going into the corners, but that's what makes this a highway cruiser, is when you're going down the highway and you're locked in cruise control at 70 miles an hour, you're gonna be stuck to the ground. A lot of people have concerns about the disc wheels catching air and things like that when you're going down the highway, wind, but these wheels are actually designed to deflect the wind away from the wheels so you don't get that wind blown out from underneath you feeling that a lot of the older Fat Boys, you did get a little bit of that. The bike also comes set up with this new bezel in the front. They came out with that in 2018, but the new chrome accents really kind of set off that front end and show it off as a Fat Boy. They kept a very, very similar emblem on your tank as they do to the Fat Boy in previous years. Obviously, you're going to get your motor option of the 114 with your 6-speed transmission also. Your Softail suspension in the rear with that rear monoshock, it's going to be hand adjustable like on your Fat Bob or on your Sport Glide. If you're familiar with those models, you'll get that same hand adjustment on your rear monoshock so you can stiffen up the load if you do add saddlebags or if you add a passenger and things like that. Guys, the style of the Fat Boy, it's undeniable. Everybody knows Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the Terminator movies, riding, to save Sarah Connor. It still has a lot of that similar style, but it's been updated technology, motor, and the style's been updated to be a little bit more modern as well. Next, we're going to get on this motorcycle. We're going to take it for a spin down our test ride route that I know you guys are familiar with now that we've done a couple of these videos. I want to talk about the power and the performance of this thing because it's got plenty of that, but I also want to talk about the comfort. You get the floorboard set up with the FL front end on this motorcycle, guys, so that's really going to give you that solid feeling when you're going over the bumps like you have on a touring bike. But the other things we're going to talk about is your sitting position and how I feel as somebody that's 6 foot while I'm sitting on the motorcycle. We're going to talk about, hey, am I getting looks when I'm out here? Is this a bike that kind of turns heads? All that good stuff that you get when you come purchase a new Fat Boy. All right, guys. This is a 2021 Fat Boy S, Fat Boy 114. Just going to talk a little bit, obviously, about how I feel on it, how it feels underneath me, power and stuff like that. It is a rainy day in Kansas City today, so we're going to take a little stroll through the rain. But the cool thing on the Fat Boy is it's got those big old fat tires. Not just in the front, you get the 240 in the rear and the 160 in the front. So, I mean, this thing should stay pretty solid underneath me. Still going to want to be corner conscious because they're new tires and
wet pavement. You guys, all you riders out there, know how that can be sometimes. Either way, cool bike. You definitely feel like a badass on one of these, man. Awesome bike for a number of different reasons. It is made to be a highway cruiser, guys. That's why you get the fat tires, keep you up and down and on a straight line. But one of the coolest things about the Fat Boy is how sturdy it is underneath you at slow speeds. It would be really, really hard to drop one of these. I really do believe that. I've sold these Fat Boys to men that have always been Fat Boy fans. You know, there's guys out there that are super loyal to the Fat Boy for many, many different reasons. This new Fat Boy, though, it's definitely the most muscular looking Fat Boy they've ever put out. A lot of that is because of the rear 240 and the fatter tire in the front with the 160. They kept the really similar graphics to what your older Fat Boys have had on them. Keeping a lot of that same style. You know, it still looks like a Fat Boy, guys. This year, we mentioned earlier when we were talking a little bit about it before I got on the bike and took a ride, that they went back to your chrome accents on everything. Super nice upgrade, in my opinion. It definitely brings back a little bit more of that Fat Boy look. You know, a lot of people, and I've heard good things about the brushed aluminum on the 2018s, 2019s, and 2020s. Some people really like that. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I mean, it's still a good-looking bike, but it's just a different change from what the Fat Boy normally has been. Of course, they did brushed aluminum wheels back in the early days of the Fat Boy, and kind of progressed into the chrome wheels too. So, you know, your Fat Boys had a lot of different stages. A lot of different generations, if you will. But this new generation Fat Boy, man, I mean, it's rainy, it's wet, but I'm really confident in the corners. You know, when you're in slow speed situations, this thing feels kind of cumbersome, and you do have to use a little bit more effort to get it down into a corner at slow speeds. At speed, though, when you're going, you know, I'm just real responsive, you know, but really secure. I feel like there is a big motorcycle underneath me. Almost kind of feels like you're on a touring bike, even though the touring bikes don't have those fat tires for, you know, handling purposes and ride purposes, stuff like that. Corner here. Turning onto Pink Hill Road, our normal test ride route I've taken you guys on several times now. See, it's like right there, though, at slow speeds. You could probably, like on my bike, I take a lot of corners in second gear because it handles really well. That corner back there, I took it in second, had to grab the clutch a little bit because it just kind of felt like it wasn't turning, but I was going slow too. I was slowing down. You know, maybe only going 10, 15 miles an hour. So that's what I mean, is it feels kind of different when you're, like, especially if you come off of a Sportster and you upgrade to this. One, you're going to feel super secure, and it's a nice upgrade off of a Sportster because floorboards, FL front end, big LED headlight, you know, soft tail frame. It's got the hand adjustable suspension on it. I have it set on 1 right now, and I can kind of feel the suspension underneath me when I hit a bump. It doesn't really ride in the rear end like a touring bike, but this front end definitely feels like a touring bike. And of course, that's because it's very similar FL front end to what your touring bikes run. So. But that was a little S-curve, guys, and at speed, you know, going 35 through there, 40 miles an hour through there. Not bad at all. Very responsive and ready to go into a corner. Alright, get this box man out of our way here. Make sure he sees me. Make sure this guy sees me. And here we go. Plenty of power. There is no doubt about that. So this is the part of the ride that gets a little bit more bumpy. You got some potholes. Still, it's late April now. It's the 23rd of April, 21. And man, the weather's kind of gone bipolar on us. Earlier this week, we had 2 inches of snow on the ground that came through in the morning, and then by noon, it was gone. Didn't even look like it even snowed. You know, it's supposed to be been kind of rainy the rest of the week, and kind of about 58, low 50s, high 50s in that range. This weekend we got a nice Saturday coming up. We have a beautiful Sunday and a very warm Monday coming towards us. So, you know, the weather's getting there as far as the riding goes, but to get these test ride videos done, sometimes you just got to grin and bear it. Today's one of those days. It's kind of chilly, but I got a nice riding jacket on, got gloves on, high top shoes. I know some of you guys have gotten on to me about wearing high top sneakers. That I just, you know, I feel like I have good protection. I know it's not as good as boots, but boots I feel don't give me the mobility with my feet that I like. So I apologize if you guys think I'm not riding safe, but I do try and gear up as much as possible. So these corners, they're fun, man. Like I said, I love this Pink Hill Road. One of my favorite little roads to just kind of cruise down. You know, it's a 45 mile an hour speed limit through here, guys. But you know, if you're just looking to get out, you're in the Eastern Jackson County area, definitely recommend this for a nice little slow cruise with some curves. Coming up on 7 Highway, we'll get into some stoplight to stoplight situations. And you know, one thing I want to speak on a little bit is the bars position. My hands are down below where I would normally like them, but it's really comfortable position. You're almost kind of like you're sitting on a scooter with lots of room, you know. That's the position. But I've seen people put big old bars on these bikes. Look amazing with tall bars on them. And if you're a big guy, maybe it doesn't have all the frame size that you'd be looking for normally. So you could make that a little bit better sitting position with some bars. I've sold these bikes to ladies too. One lady in particular was very, very short, and she was worried about the flat-footedness. But one reason that she did buy this motorcycle is because she wanted to be sure that she had something underneath her, that she didn't feel like she was going to drop all the time. She came off of a Slim and didn't really want to do a touring bike, but wanted something that she could take longer trips on. And this is what she kind of landed herself on after we sat on a bunch of different motorcycles. And she did end up lowering it to get a little bit closer to the ground, but it's worked out really well for her. So if you're a lady out there that has a problem with flat-footedness, and you know, this is a bike that you could possibly do, but definitely try Slim, you know, because it has similar setup. It doesn't have the thicker tires, but that bike sits nice and low too. So you know, the possibilities are endless off of, you know, what Harley-Davidson has created as a great base for somebody to build on with this Fat Boy 114, man. It's awfully nice bike. So back there at the stoplight, I love it because you come to a stop and, you know, you put your feet down and it's like you don't even really need to almost, because the bike just stands underneath you. Like I said earlier, you know, it feels like a bike that's, you know, almost going to be impossible to drop. You know, we move these things in and out of the dealership on a regular basis. One of my salesmen, you know, said, man, I think, I don't think it's going to be really possible for somebody to drop one of these, especially if you have a little bit of experience. I said, well, you know, I think you're right, just based on those fat tires and the weight of the vehicle, putting plenty of rubber on the road, you know, super well balanced. That's the other thing, is you don't have any type of top heaviness at all, like you do with like a Sportster or maybe even a Dyna, since they sit a little bit taller sometimes than soft hills do. But if you want to upgrade off of a Dyna or a Sportster, you're not looking for that big touring bike, this is a awesome option. We do have options for saddlebags and all that good stuff too. So you can outfit this thing. You know, you slap cruise control on it, some bags, and maybe a windshield or a fairing, and you got yourself one nice little touring bike. So, all right, here we go, I-70. All kinds of power to get on the highway, guys. No problem there. I didn't even make it into 6th gear. It was just kind of 4th, then a little bit into 5th. Shipped on up into 6th to get that cruising RPM. But another good thing. So I know a lot of people are worried about the wind and these wheels catching wind. Guys, these wheels are designed to push the wind away from the wheel and deflect the wind. And on top of that, you have so much rubber on the road that, I mean, I'm riding this thing one-handed, which you guys will probably get onto before too, but the bike feels solid, man. It feels like, I mean, I just did the test ride on the tri-glide. Almost feels as solid as the tri-glide going down the highway. So, and a lot of that will come from, you know, the fat tire in the rear, the fat tire in the front. You know, more rubber on the road equals, you know, better grip, obviously. So, hop off I-70 here, but 6th gear, still got passive power. What a great bike, man. Get the 5-gallon tank on this bike too, so you know you're set up to be able to take it about anywhere you want, really. So it's an invigorating little ride there. So one thing about me when I ride, I tend to, when I come to a stop, I'm a one-footer guy. I usually put my right foot down and just kind of chill out. With this bike, you can do that, and you can just have your toes on the ground, just slightly resting. This bike is so solid underneath you guys. I can't even explain. But if this is a bike that you guys are interested in, absolutely, I encourage you to get out there. If you got your motorcycle endorsement, go to one of your local dealers. If you're in Kansas City, please come see me, or any of the guys at Outlaw. We'll all take great care of you. But we'll get you a test ride on one of these things just to, you know, show you what it's like. Right. And back at Outlaw Harley-Davidson.
So initial reactions getting off the bike, I love it. I love it. That's one big thing. How solid it is. I said it while I was out there probably 100 times. It's super solid underneath you. You feel very secure on this motorcycle, whether it's slow speeds or in the corners. You have all that rubber on the road with the front and the rear tires nice and fat, the 160, the 240. It's got all the power. It checks that box. You have a fun motor underneath you. I ride the same motor on my Lowrider S. Recommend it for anybody, obviously. So if you set it up with cruise control, windshield, bags, you can go anywhere, guys. You really could. If you want stereo on it, there's even Hog Tunes options for that. So, you know, it's a great base, like I said while I was out there, for you guys to kind of build a motorcycle that fits you just right. Whether you're a lady that has problems getting low to the ground and wants something that feels very sturdy and secure underneath you, this would be a great option. Or if you're that guy that's had all the generations of the Fat Boys and has to have one of the new ones too, it's a great option for you guys there. All right, guys, that's pretty much all I got for you today. I really appreciate you joining me. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe, smash that like button for me. When we got new stuff coming your way, I want you to be the first ones to know about it. We'll see you next time.